Hey everybody, movie review next door here. Sorry it's been a while since I've done a review, but I'm back. Had a bit of a burnout, but I am back with Bangkok Dangerous. This is an action thriller film directed by Danny Pang and Oxide Pang Chun. This film was from 2008, and it stars Nicolas Cage, Yamnarm, Charlie Young, and Panward Hemani. In this film, when carrying out a hit, Assassin Joe always makes use of the knowledge of the local population. On arriving in Bangkok, Joe meets street kid Kong and he becomes his primary aide. But when Kong is nearly killed, he asks Joe to train him up in the deadly arts and unwittingly becomes a target of a band of killers. So, what did I think of Bangkok Dangerous? Well, I think I think it's okay. I have a lot of issues with it. I don't get to those. Overall, it's just barely watchable because of some things I think are really well done, but otherwise it's a pretty poorly done movie for the most part. But let me get to this. Nicolas Cage plays Joe. He's an assassin. Not really that much to the character. He's kind of bland, and that's one thing you don't want a Nicolas Cage movie to be is bland. Um, yeah, there's not really much to this character at all. Um, Chakrat Yamnarm plays Kong. He's basically a trainee. He's okay, but here's the issue. He doesn't get enough to do. And it feels like from what I've heard of the original movie, it focused a lot more on this character. Like you were following this character from the beginning and not the assassin character, and this assassin character is kind of bland. I feel like if you're following Kong from the beginning, it would be a lot more interesting, but I don't know. Uh, he's probably a great actor. He's not been in a ton of films, but I don't know. Um, Charlie Young plays Fawn, who is this pharmacy girl that Joe kind of falls in love with. She does a good job. She plays a deaf girl. I don't think the actress is actually deaf. Um, she's also a singer, which is cool. Um, but yeah, she did a good job. I liked her. She's likable. Uh, and Pandward Hemani as there's not much to her character. I don't think she has a line of dialogue in the film. She might have like one or two, but for the most part, it's like her and Chakrit just conversing and you can't hear what they're saying. But herein lies my issue with this movie. This is a movie that is it's generic to the point of making me feel like I'm going insane watching it. Now, it's not just that it has a lot of tropes. I love a lot of films that have a shit ton of tropes in them. Kind of recent example, Deadly Takeover or Deadly Outbreak with Jeff Speakman has a shit ton of tropes. Most action movies, pretty much all action movies, have a lot of tropes. It just depends on how you execute the movie and the execution of the visuals, the action, the directing, the editing, the sound, the score. And this film is very uneven on almost all respects. Let me start off with the cinematography. It's very flat. It you have this interesting location of Bangkok. Uh and what do you do? What do you do with the Thailand setting? You shoot it like a TV show. Um A lot of very flat shots. There's some shots where they try to do that, like going into a wall and then they cut to a next shot, and it just feels like they fucked up the shot. Uh, Cinematography. No, wait, I already said cinematography. I'm sorry. Editing. The, excuse me. The editing during the action scenes, especially, is it's not the worst. It's not nearly as bad as something like Columbiana or Taken 1 and 2 or Taken 2 and 3 or Transporter 3 or Last Days of American Crime. I'm only naming Olivier Megaton movies. I mean, other examples I could say like there was this one like South Korean movie called Guardian that had the editing this way, which pissed me off. But yeah, what I mean is quick cut editing. It's not nowhere near as bad as those in the editing, but the editing is still really lacking. Um, it's very awkward, the editing. It's not like it's too fast or too slow. It's just very kind of lumbering. There are certain shots that go on for way too long. There are certain sequences that go on for way too long. Um, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's an emotional moment at the end that's like an unbroken shot for like 3 minutes, and I really don't understand why it had to be like that. I know they want you to care about this character so much, but I know nothing about the main character. I know nothing about the main character in this, other than he's an assassin, and he fell in love with a deaf woman. The deaf woman doesn't like him at near the end because she saw him kill some people. And yeah, it's just very, you know, bland. The action. Oh. There's like one kind of interesting bit of action near the end. Most of the action is very stale, repetitive. There's this bit of sniper fun, which is cool because I like when sniper rifles get used in action movies, especially because it doesn't happen a lot other than things like the Sniper series, which apparently the 10th Sniper movie is about to come out. Um, can't wait to see it. Uh, but uh, it's like a sniper shot. It's fine. There's a bit where he takes out like a guy in a car using an Uzi while he's on his motorcycle. There's a motorcycle chase at one point that's okay. There's like two bits of action that I think were pretty half decent, and they're both near the end. There's a bit where Kong tries to fight off these guys, and it actually looks pretty good. I'll give it that. That little bit of action looks all right, and um the bit near the end where um Joe is shooting at another assassin like through these or another guy through these like 5-gallon things of water, and there's like water spilling everywhere. I love that concept of shooting through things at each other. I think it's a cool one. I think it's visually interesting. The red light around. That was an interestingly executed action scene. I just wish the film had more of that. The romance. The romance was one of the things I actually didn't mind about it. I wish they focused a bit more on it, and I wish it had its own movie, like a hitman romance type of thing, and her learning to understand him, and he like drops being a hitman for her. I feel like that would have been a way more interesting movie. And the woman is really adorable. She's really sweet to him, and yeah, it's kind of an interesting plot line wasted on a pretty meh movie. And I understand this is a remake. I know it's a remake of Bangkok Dangerous from 1999. Uh, and like I said, I'm pretty sure the Joe character wasn't supposed to be the main character, but I guess because they could get Nicolas Cage, they wrote it so that Joe was the main character. Even though, I mean, I could tell that like Kong was supposed to be the main character. Um, um, but yeah. Uh, what else can I say about this? I'm only 10 minutes in. Um, I mean, even though the cinematography can be a bit eh at times, I will say the location of Thailand is an interesting one. You don't get to see in a lot of action movies, especially ones that were released in America. Um, like I said, a couple of the action sequences were okay. It's just overall, this movie feels like something is missing. It feels like it was supposed to be a bit more epic, a bit more gripping. Maybe this is one of those movies that kind of just got rushed out. I don't know. I don't have that knowledge. But yeah. This film says online that it cost $45 million to make. It doesn't look like it. It looks like a maybe $15 million movie. Maybe Nicolas Cage got a huge paycheck. I don't know. This was around the time where he was starting to get more direct-to-video stuff, and I know this wasn't direct-to-video, but it was close to when he was starting to go more direct-to-video. Um, which I'm not trashing on him with that. There's plenty of direct-to-video movies I liked him in. Um, but yeah, it this is just kind of a so-so movie. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. I don't think I'll have a need to. Um, and I don't know if it has to do with my burnout, but um, I was trying to watch multiple Nicolas Cage movies. I might keep watching Nicolas Cage movies. I'm gonna try to watch Saw X tomorrow because it releases on digital. But I got like halfway through this movie originally, and then just like stopped watching it because I was kind of just bored. The movie did pick up a bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not so bad it's good that you can laugh at it, and it's not really so good that I can really recommend it. So, what you gonna do? But yeah. That was my review of Bangkok Dangerous. If you enjoyed the review, let me know in the comments and move here for your next door.